On April 25th, 6 days before Miami, Christian Horner stepped into the Honda factory garage at the MotoGP Spanish Grand Prix in Jerez. Not in his usual role as a team principal, but as a free agent. His 9-month gardening leave had ended on April 9th. He currently has no position, no team, and no confirmed plans. Yet he spent the final practice session of the weekend speaking with Koji Watanabe, the CEO of Honda Racing Corporation. This is the same Honda working relentlessly at Sakura to solve the engine issues that have left Aston Martin at the very bottom of the Formula One grid. 0 points after 3 races, just 1 classified finish, and a vibration issue severe enough that Alonso had to remove both hands from the steering wheel in China. A team principal who never intended to take the role, and a Honda solution that showed promise on Friday at Suzuka before being taken off the car overnight due to reliability concerns. With 6 days remaining until Miami, Horner's presence in the Honda garage stands out. So let's break down exactly where Aston Martin currently stands and what Horner's appearance in Jerez could actually indicate. The results speak for themselves. In Australia, both cars retired. In China, Alonso briefly lost control while approaching a braking zone at full speed and later retired, while Stroll exited the race due to a separate battery failure. In Japan, Alonso managed to finish 18th, 1 lap behind, and Stroll again failed to finish. That summarizes Aston Martin's entire 2026 season so far. They sit last in the Constructors' Championship, alongside Cadillac, the new entrant that was always expected to struggle. Aston Martin, however, was not supposed to be here. This is a team backed by an exclusive Honda Works partnership, a car designed under Adrian Newey's direction, and a cutting-edge facility at Silverstone. George Russell had described the car as pretty spectacular during the Barcelona shakedown. The contrast between that early impression and the current reality highlights how dangerous the gap can be between a promising concept and a truly competitive race car. The vibration issue may be the headline, but it is only a symptom. The underlying problem lies in a destructive interaction between the Honda power unit's combustion frequencies, the MGU-K's electrical load, and the structural characteristics of the AMR26's carbon fiber chassis. The use of a 2-deck battery concept further complicates efforts to isolate the issue. This is not something that can be fully resolved within 6 days. Shintaro Orihara's video from Sakura this week confirmed that Honda and Aston Martin engineers have been working continuously since Japan. His choice of wording was telling. Countermeasures, not solutions or fixes. A countermeasure reduces the effect of a problem without removing its root cause. At its core, the vibration stems from a resonance between the power unit and the chassis. Properly addressing it would require fundamental changes to the power unit architecture, changes that are restricted by homologation rules, or require FIA approval. What Honda can implement more quickly are improvements in isolation between the power unit and battery, adjustments to mounting interfaces, and revised damping strategies. The most revealing episode so far came at Suzuka. Honda introduced countermeasures on Friday, allowing Alonso to complete 34 laps. He reported that the car felt 80% improved, with almost no vibration. By Saturday morning, those changes had been removed because they were not reliable enough for race conditions. Alonso was unaware of the change and described the issue as random, which, from his perspective, it was. The difference between a solution that works in controlled conditions and one that can endure a full race distance is exactly the gap Honda has been trying to close over the past 5 weeks. Whether they have succeeded will become clear during Miami's first practice session. Adrian Newey stepped into the role of team principal as a temporary measure. Andy Cowell stepped aside after determining that his working style did not align with Newey's. Newey himself never sought the position, having always preferred to focus on car design. Jonathan Wheatley, who is expected to take over permanently, remains on gardening leave from Audi and will not be available until August. This creates a 5-month period where Aston Martin is being led by someone who does not want the leadership role. The results so far reflect that situation. 0 points and only 1 finish. Reports from within the team suggest that some staff are questioning whether the AMR26's issues can be resolved within the current regulations. Officially, the structure remains that Newey concentrates on development while Crack oversees trackside operations. However, the gap between that official stance and what sources within the paddock are suggesting is significant. The key question is straightforward. Can Newey effectively design a car while also leading a team during a crisis? The early evidence suggests otherwise, not due to any lack of ability, but because those responsibilities require very different skill sets. Aston Martin currently needs both at the same time. Horner's appearance in Jerez is significant for three main reasons. First, his previous connection to Aston Martin as a potential team principal before the season began. Although Lawrence Stroll dismissed that possibility in November, circumstances have changed dramatically since then. As Karun Chandhok pointed out on Sky Sports, when success is at stake, past tensions can be set aside. Second is the Honda factor. During Red Bull's partnership with Honda, Horner developed strong relationships within the company. Together, they achieved 4 drivers' championships and 2 constructors' titles. His familiarity with Honda's internal culture and engineering approach could prove valuable, especially given the pressure they are currently under with Aston Martin. Third is the timing. His gardening leave ended on April 9th, and just over 2 weeks later, he is seen speaking with the CEO of the engine supplier, linked to Aston Martin. Whether intentional or coincidental, such timing rarely happens without purpose in Formula One. Crack has stated that Miami will mark a turning point and that the vibration issue will no longer be a talking point. That is an ambitious claim, particularly given that the most recent countermeasures were not race-ready. Realistically, Miami is not about scoring points or achieving strong qualifying results. The primary objective is much more basic, ensuring that both drivers can complete the race without experiencing harmful levels of vibration. Survival, not performance, is the immediate goal. The ADU window that was expected to open before Miami has now been delayed until after Monaco. Meaningful performance upgrades remain months away. Meanwhile, the chassis deficit, estimated at around 2.3 seconds per lap in qualifying, largely unrelated to the engine, cannot realistically be addressed during the season. What Miami can reveal is whether the vibration issue has been brought under control. If Honda's efforts over the past 5 weeks have produced countermeasures capable of lasting a full race, then simply finishing with both cars would represent progress. If not, Aston Martin will face race 5 with the same core problem they had at the start of the season. At that point, the question of Horner's future, whether with Aston Martin, Alpine, or elsewhere, will become increasingly urgent with each race that passes without improvement. Miami will not resolve Aston Martin's difficulties, but it will provide clarity on their severity. 0 points after 3 races. A temporary fix that showed promise but proved unusable. A team principal balancing design responsibilities with race management, and a power unit issue severe enough to impact driver safety. Meanwhile, the individual most often linked with turning things around is seen in the Honda garage at a MotoGP event, speaking directly with the CEO of the company supplying Aston Martin's engines. The situation is not quieting, it is intensifying. Questions about whether the AMR 26 can be fundamentally fixed remain unanswered. The delayed ADU window offers no immediate relief, and the underlying chassis deficit cannot be solved through regulation changes or management adjustments alone. Ultimately, Miami will answer a much simpler question than any long-term projection.